In our November 13th, 2023 episode, we discussed the importance of empathy and defined it as our social radar. That is, our ability to understand what others feel and why they do what they do. We identified the characteristics of people who display empathy, why empathy is important to the functioning of a department, and how the manager can help the members of the team improve their empathy. In this episode, we'll focus on you, the manager, and how the level of empathy between you and your staff can hurt or help you. We'll give you a way to rate your own level of empathy and talk about steps you can take to increase it. Hi, I'm Rick Kendall.
And I'm Fred Ball.
Welcome to Management Mastery. The purpose of these podcasts is to share what each of us has learned about good and bad management in our combined over 40 years of experience, both as managers and executive coaches. During that time, we've coached managers at every level in companies from Fortune 100s to brand new startups in all major businesses, including nonprofits, government, and education. So whether you're just starting in your first management position or are an experienced manager looking to strengthen your management skills, we know our podcast will be valuable to you.
You don't have to look far to see the negative impacts of a lack of empathy in a manager. For example, when a manager believes that they're never wrong, they give the team an assignment, and before asking for input from the team, the manager gives them the answer. Unfortunately, that has the effect of ending the discussion before it begins. Possibly, without even meaning to, the manager has said to the staff, "I don't care what you know or what your ideas are, I know best," period. In this way, the manager shows a lack of empathy with and respect for the staff involved. Some managers can take questioning their judgment personally. They may get quiet or they may speak up and show that they're upset or angry. Often any discussion about a problem will end right there, and staff members may not be clear on how the boss's decision is to be implemented. In that case, rather than try for any clarification that may raise the boss's ire again, staff members may just shut down.
Yeah, I've experienced that in both coaching and managing situations, and it's very hard to deal with because this leaves a void in communication and a lack of clarification about what needs to be done. And it also leaves the staff feeling that their ideas or their knowledge aren't worth the time for the boss to listen to. So staff may go to other colleagues to see if they can piece together the direction, often incorrectly. So it just leads to all sorts of inefficiencies, bad feelings that he really doesn't or she really doesn't care about me, just really can mess things up.
No question. Rather than cutting off discussion, the wise manager asks for input from staff at every opportunity. This demonstrates to staff that their potential contribution is valued by the boss. It also shows respect for the abilities of the staff member.
Yeah, another way to think about empathy is that it's simply showing respect to the staff member as a person. Respect for their experience, their knowledge, their intelligence, and their past performance in the job. It's also showing respect for them as a person with a life outside of work. And in addition to respect, empathy shows caring. Again, caring for them as an individual as well as simply a member of your team.
You know, that's a really interesting point, Rick. I can't tell you the number of times that I've been aware that a manager has done a nice thing, a good deed, whatever you want to call it, for one of their staff members. I even had one instance where the staff member was new to the area, was a single parent, had a child who got sick at night, and they didn't know what to do, and they actually called the manager, and the manager went to the drugstore and got a prescription and took it home. Needless to say, that person is never, ever going to forget what that manager did. And in addition, it leads to better decision making. By involving staff members in a meaningful way, you and your team will make better decisions. And we've talked about this before, where we've said that you as the manager don't have to have all of the answers, that in fact sometimes your staff will have better ones. It also, over time, leads to greater staff retention. Staff members won't put up with a boss who only listens to themselves, and they'll only take it so long before they begin to look for another job. People like to work where they feel valued and respected.
So how do you, as a manager, know if you're displaying enough empathy with your staff? A quick way to assess your level of empathy is, from time to time, to ask yourself a series of questions. For example, how much do you know about the background of each of your staff members, especially your direct reports?
What do you know about their hobbies or other interests outside of work? How often, if ever, do you ask them about it? Do you know the names of their spouses and children? Remember, these are among the most important things to anyone.
Yeah, and also, when was the last time you excused a staff member to handle a personal problem during a stressful time of work? And when was the last time you asked one of your team members for help in an area where their expertise is greater than yours? Or when was the last time you congratulated a staff member in front of your boss or the team? These are all things that, you want to be doing on a regular basis, but often they just fall in the cracks.
True. So you might say, but Rick or Fred, what if I really don't care about what they do outside of work? Don't I have enough to worry about? Our answer is simple. Research and our own experience as coaches and managers has shown over and over that employees who don't feel cared about as people are much less likely to care about their work and more likely to be open to working somewhere else if the opportunity arises. In other words, it can make the difference between leading an indifferent team or an outstanding one. That's why we feel you should care and show empathy to your team members.
So if we've convinced you, then you need to take note of those areas in our little quiz where you've got strengths and those areas where you can improve. There are a number of steps that you can take to increase your empathy. For example, begin to immerse yourself more in your people. Get to know staff members personally, including entry-level and frontline staff, and work to build rapport by just starting casual conversations at the water cooler, if you will, when the opportunity presents itself and as you're getting to know them. So remember, they're individuals too. They're not just workers in your department.
I'm coaching a fellow right now who's quite analytical, and as a manager, I've tried to get him to start to just say to people in the morning, how are you? And it's really interesting how those conversations open up. Recently, he asked one of his colleagues how they were and what they had done on the weekend. And the fella said, well, my son and I went to a railroad exhibition where you have the small cars and the exhibition was all set up. And it turns out that the manager that I'm coaching loves that kind of stuff and got an idea for something that he and his child could go and do as well. So it really has positives. Where appropriate, you want to tell relevant stories about yourself or experiences you've had to make yourself more relatable. And if you find that it's hard for you to do that, just practice it once in a while. Just say to somebody, I had a tennis match over the weekend, or something else that may just get a conversation going where they have give them a different perspective on you. Make time to meet with staff individually and don't cancel the meetings. Don't cancel the meetings. Listen attentively when staff members have suggestions for improving operations. Evaluate whether you can make any changes and let the staff member know of the outcome. People, if they make a suggestion, want to know what the outcome is.
Not just know what the outcome is, but also explain, if you come to a different conclusion, just explain why you ended up in a different place than what they suggested. Because again, that shows respect for their opinion, that you considered it, and respect for them as people because you took the time to explain why you didn't go in that direction.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and on the topic of having these kind of impromptu conversations, I've found a suggestion that works a lot is just find out everybody in your department, find out what their birthday is, and put that in your calendar. And you'll be surprised, just bumping into somebody on their birthday and wishing them a happy birthday. That means a lot to people, that you took the time to say, gee, happy birthday, and that you knew it was their birthday. Along with the names of their spouse and children, that's an important thing to people. So have your antenna up so you can recognize when somebody's having a professional or personal problem that you might be able to help them with. And admit when you don't know something and become comfortable asking staff members for help. Empower team members to take on meaningful tasks that challenge them and that may help them to learn new skills or may help you to run your department more smoothly. And finally, congratulate staff for any and all successes, ideally in front of others, your boss, their team members, whoever.
That's exactly right. In summary, empathy is one of the most important skills a manager can have. It's the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. We've all seen examples of leaders who are so wrapped up in themselves that they can't put themselves in the other's position and relate to the problems of their staff. We identified the positive aspects of empathy and provided you with a series of questions on your use of empathy to test where you are, and then we've given you a number of steps to improve your empathy. It takes time, thought, and trying them in real time to increase your level of empathy.
We hope you have found this podcast useful and will come back again for more management mastery. If you have any comments about this or any of our episodes, or would like to find out more about our other services, including one-on-one coaching and group seminars for managers, visit our website at careercoachclass.com. Thanks for listening.